welcome. Today I thought I'd do a bit of an in-depth review of our 1962 Hustler articulated off-road vehicle. This is basically an early side-by-side built before side-by-sides were a thing, and basically before ATVs for that matter. And it is full-time four-wheel drive. It is articulated. It has front-to-rear oscillation that allows the vehicle to crawl over obstacles. That front half pivots left to right, independent of the rear, and it will tip about 45 degrees either direction, quite a lot actually. That explains the need for the your electrical and your cables to run through that cable that makes the big loop above there, as well as some of the fuel lines going underneath. We'll show you the you can see that center pivot under there that gives you your articulated steering, the drive line running through there, U-joints up in there, and right ahead of that there's a tube. There's an outer and an inner tube that gives you your oscillation front to rear, and we'll show you in a few minutes how all that works. Some of my more mechanical guys will notice that that motor is not from 1962. That is a Kubota Z482 two-cylinder diesel. This whole machine was restored by my father and I last summer, summer of 2023. And we decided when we were going to restore it that why not update it a little bit. We do use this machine on the farm, and it gets taken out and run around and used at tractor shows and things like that. We decided to update it a little, make it a little more reliable, I guess you could say, and just usable in the modern day, basically. So we added the LED headlights, the winch. It's got full turn signals on it and things like that. The original unit was powered by a single cylinder Wisconsin AENL air-cooled gas engine. Some of them came out with twin cylinder Wisconsins as well. This one has had a whole variety of engines over the years. Most recently, before this Kubota, was powered with a Briggs & Stratton 16 horsepower single cylinder flathead engine. We'll pop the hood open. The hood was actually added as well. I'll back up here for a second. As well as the grill, being that we went from an air-cooled engine to a water-cooled engine. I'll show you in a second. Here we've got a radiator down there, so we had to have some airflow. So we kind of designed that front end based on the Jeep look a little bit. That is a modified Honda Civic radiator, just available on the internet. The engine is positioned where it was originally with the Wisconsin engine, but we had to make a custom motor mount that facilitated the use of the CVT clutch system. Those are Comet clutches. I believe it's a 780 primary and I think it's a P40D secondary. Very similar to what was on this originally. It runs through the CVT belt and pulley system, through the original transmission that we have rebuilt. That is a 1940 Dodge 3-speed manual transmission. Your shift pattern, I guess I should say, is straight forward and straight back. So push down and forward is reverse, down backwards is first, up forwards is second, up backwards is third. Being that we have the CVT system, we basically have an automatic with 3 ranges. So you can put this in high gear and just go. It is simple to drive in that way. So off of the transmission that's mounted under the battery there, we've got a set of roller chain and sprockets that drops right down here into your drive line and runs to the front and the rear. It only has brakes on the rear axle, being that it doesn't necessarily need brakes on the front axle because everything is fully locked. So you do technically have front brakes without actually having front brakes. Just a couple other little updates. Of course, making things a little simpler, easier to run, is the control panel now being mounted in here. Originally it was mounted up by the engine. We did that just for simplicity. And of course, full gauges and the lights and everything, indicator lights if there's a problem. And just added that in just to make things a little nicer and easier to use. Brake lock there. You can see the foot throttle and foot brake. The entire braking system is all late 40s, early 50s Chevy passenger car, that is what the rear ends are off of on this particular unit. We added the receiver hitch. It had just a normal straight kind of tractor style hitch on it, but again, just thought we should do a couple updates where we can actually use this thing around the farm. I'll give you guys a quick startup video, show you how simple it is to run, and then maybe we'll go. Okay, we'll see if we can do this one-handed. Go ahead and turn on our ignition switch, push button for glow plugs. It's a little bit hard to see, but that amber light kicks on there to let you know the glow plugs are going. Fires right up. We can, as I mentioned before, we can go ahead and put it in high gear. There's no reason not to. And we're off. Get a little bit of roller chain noise. That's what the kind of growling is. But give you a little bit of a demonstration here. I'll kind of steer off in the ditch, and you'll be able to see how that front end kind of pivots, basically. A little bit hard to see, but it's independent of the front and rear. This is a little bit of a ditch here, so I can give you a good look at kind of what happens. Pretty simple to run. Helps if I put it in gear. Down in this ditch here, you can kind of get an idea of how it kind of tips its way down in there. And even though it kind of might look bad, it's really pretty stable. It doesn't really matter. It's always got all four wheels on the ground. There's really no tip to it at all. We'll just go right around here, and I'll drive by the camera and go in the other direction. Kind of just tips the nose right up on there. Kind of drives its way right up. I want to thank you guys for checking out my video today, and have a good one.